Standard 1.5 asks you to describe how British policies and responses to colonial concerns led to the writing of the Declaration of Independence. So let's get started. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Virtual History 360. I'm Mr. Wade, and today we are reviewing Florida's updated civic standards. This might be your introduction to the standard or a review before the EOC. Either way, we're going to work through this content together. It might sound complicated, but don't worry, we'll break it down. Now, if you aren't already subscribed to Virtual History, do yourselves a favor and click the button now so you keep up with all of the new standard review videos that will be coming out this year. But what do you say? Are you ready to jump right in with CG.1.5? Here we go. Let's start by understanding some of the policies and acts that the British imposed on the American colonies. One important term to remember is the Stamp Act. The Stamp Act, passed in 1765, required colonists to purchase special stamps for various legal documents, newspapers, and even playing cards. This act was seen as a direct tax imposed by the British Parliament on the colonies without their consent or representation. The colonists saw it as a violation of their rights, as they believed that they should have a voice in decisions that affected them. Another important act is the Quartering Act. This act required the colonists to provide housing and supplies to British soldiers stationed in America. The colonists saw this as an infringement on their rights and as another example of British overreach and control. The Declaratory Act, passed in 1766, declared the British Parliament's right to make laws and pass legislation that affected the colonies in all cases whatsoever. This act asserted British authority over the colonies and further fueled the colonists' desire for independence. The Townshend Acts, enacted in 1767, imposed duties or taxes on various goods imported into the colonies, such as glass, paper, paint, and tea. These acts were seen as a way for the British to raise revenue from the colonies and to tighten their control over trade. The colonists responded with protests and boycotts, which eventually led to heightened tensions between the two sides. The Tea Act, passed in 1773, gave the British East India Company a monopoly on the tea trade in the colonies. This act led to the infamous Boston Tea Party, where colonists disguised as Native Americans dumped tea into Boston Harbor to protest against the unfair monopolistic practices and taxation without representation. The Intolerable Acts, enacted in 1774, were a series of punitive measures by the British in response to the Boston Tea Party. These acts closed the port of Boston, restricted self-government in Massachusetts, and increased British control over the colonies. The Intolerable Acts were seen as severe infringements on colonial rights and further united the colonies in their quest for independence. Now, let's discuss the underlying themes of British colonial policies that fueled the colonists' desire for independence. One key theme is taxation without representation. The colonists believed that they should have a say in the decisions that affected their daily lives and their wallets. They felt that the British were imposing taxes on them without their consent or representation in the British Parliament. This injustice ignited a sense of outrage and a desire for self-governance among the colonists. Another theme is the idea of individual rights. The colonists believed in the inherent rights of individuals, such as the right to life, liberty, and property. They saw the British policies as a violation of these rights and as an infringement on their freedoms. They believed that they had the right to govern themselves and make decisions that would protect their individual liberties. All of these policies and responses to colonial concerns eventually led to the writing of the Declaration of Independence. The colonists felt that their grievances were not being addressed by the British government and that their rights were being trampled upon. The Declaration of Independence, written in 1776, declared the colonies' intent to separate from British rule and establish their own independent nation based on the principles of freedom, equality, and self-governance. In conclusion, British policies and responses to colonial concerns played a significant role in the writing of the Declaration of Independence. The unjust taxes, restrictions on self-government, and violations of individual rights led the colonists to seek independence from British rule. Understanding this history helps us appreciate the courage and determination of the colonists in their pursuit of freedom and self-determination. Okay, so now I know you're going to go deeper into this standard in class, but hopefully now you feel a little bit more confident about the content. But I do want to hear from you. Do you have any questions about what we talked about today? If so, leave them in the comments below. And while you're there, go ahead and hit that like button for me so YouTube knows to share this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Now, be sure to check out my other videos like the ones you see to the side over here. Make sure you watch the rest of the videos in this playlist for more videos on the updated standards, but I also have other civics videos and US and world history videos as well. I even have videos that I've shot in 360 that you can look all the way around. So, do yourselves a favor and check them out, because I know you're going to like them. Alright, for Virtual History 360, I'm Mr. Wade. I'll see you next time.